Hello, welcome to the second video in a series of small basic tutorials with me, Cassius Lockwood, also known as the head of Foxstrike. Small basic tutorials won't be the only thing we're doing, but we will do quite a lot of them. So in the last video, this one right here, we covered the first print hello world line, and we went over some other features of small basic prime, some extensions, and I think a bit of inputs, if I'm correct. Yeah, sure, we went through some inputs. So what we're going to do today is do a bit of work on variables. So variables are essentially data storage, so storing a number or storing a letter or more letters and numbers. So var1 equals, it can be anything from 065 to GHD, even 065 GHD. We can assign them to different values like true or false, but that doesn't work in small basic. So variables can be defined different ways. So when we put name equals input, or no, name equals text window dot write line, name is a variable, and then we're essentially printing the variable name, because name got assigned whatever the text window dot read is given out. So you need a variable. So name equals, so essentially it's saying name, the value of name equals whatever whatever they get in that value. So what we're going to do is we're going to set var1 to 6 and var2 to 9. This is pretty simple. And then we're going to do text window dot write line like we did last time, and it's going to be var1 plus var2. Both are set to integers, so they should print out 15, which is the correct for that. So using this basis, you can then create a calculator. Now we're going to use a couple more vars. So we're going to use, so vars can be called anything as well. So we're going to use num1, num2, and method. So we all want to set these to 0 at the start. It just defines that they're vars and that they're actually variables. So what we're going to do is essentially make a simple calculator. So text window dot write line, and then this will say, and what we're going to do write, just so it looks a little bit better. So enter your first number, and then always when doing text window dot write, you want to leave a space. If we didn't, it's going to do that. So as you can see here, it goes from that just to that. Then when inputting, so if I do num1 equals text window dot read, if you're wondering how I'm quickly doing this, so if I do dot read, then I'm gonna press down arrow to go down, and then hit tab, and it will do it for you. Read number. Now if we run this, you can say that, but look, it will put it right next to it, which is a little bit annoying. So if we then add a space, it will add a little bit of a space so we can type in the number. Then we're going to do text window dot write. You don't have to put exactly this. It doesn't have to be text window dot write. You can do it as write line. You can call num1 and num2 number 1 or number 2. You can change method. You can keep it as var1, var2 and var3. You can do whatever you want essentially. Now read number is essentially only reading an integer. So an integer is a number. Read number can read integers and floats if I'm correct. Let's test this by 00 dot. Yep, it can also read floats. So any class numbers, so it can be floats or integers. Integers is a number, a whole number essentially, and float is a decimal number. So we're going to do write and we're going to put enter your, sorry for my bad spelling if I do have it, then num2 equal text window dot read number, and then we're going to do one more. This will not be a read number. Now, this is going to go from variables to variables and if statements. So what we're going to do is we're going to check what the method the user has put in. You don't have to do this. You can not do the int and then you can just move on to the calculation, which I'll do in a second, and you won't do the method and you won't check what method and do the if statement or anything, but you can. It would be a little bit more complex, which would be good to start with now. So if statements are essentially if a value equals another value. It's really easy. So if method equals, so this is going to be plus, we put plus sign in there, and put then text window dot write line, and then num1 plus num2, because they're both integer numbers or float numbers, then they would be passed on and be able to plus. If they weren't and they were strings, then what would happen is, say we put num1 as 3 and num2 as 4, it would put 34 because it's just sticking the two numbers together. So if I do something like name plus age, it would go Foxstrike 12 or something like that. That's not actually my name, well, my age. So yeah, right. So then we do else if. So if it doesn't equal that, it might equal this. Else if it equals something else. So this bit is the really easy stuff, but this easy stuff comes into big bits of practice. Eventually you will start using the easy stuff a lot, and it will get to the point where you know the easy stuff off by heart. Don't know what's going on there. It won't allow me to quick tab it. Anyway, so we've just done the minus, but eventually the easy stuff does come really in handy when you're doing other processes. So eventually we're going to create a game, potentially using 3D aspects, but we're going to create a game using graphics, and we're going to have a start menu and all this lovely stuff. This text window we might not use, but yes, it's quite a basic thing, but a text window is pretty good, because what we can then do is we can use this system of text window to essentially make a debug screen. So if I quickly open my programming, my new Fox core, and then config, and then we actually open the program, what I have to do is I've got to test thousands of things. So if when I click the new program button it doesn't work, it could be it doesn't work up here because it's not defining it as a button correctly. Could work over here because it's stuck in the loop. It could be stuck in that loop somehow. It might not work in the sub when the button's clicked, and it might not be able to do that. So as you can see here, enter the sub. That is basically a debug screen because I don't use it for anything else apart from a little bit of outputting, which then it just gets cleared. Here's for file location, which obviously gets cleared before the output. So I use text window as just a little bit to give me where it's got to. So if we have an error on line 25, or if it's not even going into the sub, then I would have something like text window dot entered sub, text window dot write line entered sub here, and then I can tell because it will do one thing, it will then print the other one, and it won't print the entered sub, so it can't enter the sub somehow. So that's how it works. If you understand, okay. If not, you don't have to. I'm not saying you have to. So that does come in handy when doing other things. That's the thing. Normally, support small basic does only prompt you to do one else if. So after that, it kind of prompts you to try and end if, but you don't have to. It's a really weird thing with small basic. That's why it won't let me do a then either, because it's trying to prompt me not to, because I've already done one, which it's a little bit annoying. An error has occurred there because it's trying to plus it instead of minus. Now what we're going to do here is add an and, because times, people can refer to times as the asterisk if you're a keen programmer or use computers a lot, or you can refer to times as the X, or you can refer to times as a capital X. Now let me double check that I've got the conditions correct. So I'm gonna conditions in small basic, and then it will go to or less than, greater than, not equal to, logical operators. So okay, so it will be or, and then we do text window dot write line, and then the answer of num1 times by num2. Now please make sure it is the asterisk here, or it won't work, because it'll be trying to exit and it'll think x is var and x is variable, and it won't print anything. That's it. That's basically the whole of the main calculation method. It just checks what method you put in, and we'll check from there. So if we run it now, enter your first number, so 3 plus 2, and we're going to do plus, so 3. It should be 5, yep. And then if we run it again, you can do 3, 2, and take away 3, take away 2 is 1. Easy, if I'm correct. And I do 2, take away 3, take away, it will go into the minuses. I do 1 divided by 5, divide 1 divided by 5, 0.2, float. So that is essentially it. That is variables. So just to recap, variables are anything you can assign to different things. So we can assign it to numbers or strings. We can also technically assign it to lines of code. You would put the line of code in as a string. I'm not 100% sure how that works. I'll try and figure it out by doing the description, and it'll either be there, or if not, I'll say in the start of the next video. Also, sorry for the low quality of video 1. Turns out my video editor wasn't outputting in 1080p, it was only outputting in 720. Qualities of the video should improve and should get better over time. So thank you all very much for watching. I will see you in the next video, where we will be covering a little bit more advanced stuff, probably some arrays and some while loops and things like that. So thank you all for watching. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.